esoteric society. Esoteric sounds like it means the same thing as occult, and it doesn't. Esoteric simply means knowledge held by a group of people. It is not for outsiders.
Freemasons say their mysteries can only be experienced, not revealed. What can be revealed are the symbolic equipment and sacred objects inside a Freemason's lodge, rooted in one of the most ancient trades in history.
Take a look around the lodge room. Look at what you're seeing. You are seeing the symbols of stonecutters, masons, builders. You're seeing the square and compass. You are seeing a maul hammer. You're seeing trowels. These are all symbols of builders.
These ritual tools are part of the secret society's origin story. Europe in the 12th century experienced a revolution in architecture. Innovations like the flying buttress allowed buildings to be larger, taller, and more airy. Cities began competing to build great cathedrals. And from this revolution came a group of builders, stonemasons, who jealously protected their trade secrets.
A Freemason was very secretive. He never wrote down the sacred geometry of his craft. He never wrote down how he had learned it. He learned it as an entered apprentice in what was called the lodge. And the knowledge came from the master mason. He was the free mason. He was free to move from place to place, from job to job.
These itinerant and free masons would only discuss their trade with members of the same guild, who were recognized by secret handshakes and coded phrases. Yet some say the society is older than that, much older.
I think part of the mystery about Freemasonry is its connection with the ancient world. Their roots are traced as far back as the Egyptian mysteries of Isis and Osiris.
It goes all the way back to Imhotep of Egypt. Imhotep was the first great architect about 2800 BC. He was the Grand Vizier for the Pharaoh Zoser. He built the Step Pyramid. He was also a doctor, a poet, and he was one of the only men who was not a pharaoh who became a god.
Pyramid symbols are found throughout Freemasonry, in the structure of lodges, in the ritual icons, even on the openly Masonic Great Seal of the United States, printed on every American dollar bill. But what are these Egyptian and Masonic symbols pointing at? Why did the Freemasons embed these specific mathematical and historic elements in their symbols? And why are they hiding in plain sight in the streets of the world's greatest Masonic city?
The idea there is that if you're an initiate, if you're enlightened to the secrets of the craft, you will understand that there's a lot of meaning right in front of the average person's face who doesn't see it.
And some say the monuments of Washington, D.C. are nothing less than the key to the secrets of Freemasonry.
D.C. is a fascinating place. It really has a hidden history behind it. It's fascinating because it was formed as a Masonic city.
A ride through these iconic streets reveals more mysteries than solutions. Author Warren Gettler is a former reporter for the Wall Street Journal and author of Rebel Gold. Gettler's book investigates a connection between the Freemasons and an ancient lost treasure.
It's a little known fact that many of the major monuments here in Washington were designed by Masons. The Washington Monument, the Capitol, and the White House were all designed by Freemasons. And they established here in Washington what's known as the Federal Triangle. If you even go to the Metro, you can see the sign, Federal Triangle. But few people realize what that really represents. It's the Pythagorean right triangle. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
The Pythagorean triangle has been called the foundation of all Masonry. Some say it symbolizes the Mason's power. Others say it symbolizes a map.
This is ground zero for the Federal Triangle. There's a north line that runs right through the White House here, and then there's a line running east through the Capitol. So these two lines are coming together at the original spot where the Washington Monument was supposed to be, right here, in what you'd call a right triangle, a Pythagorean triangle. And that was very important to Masonic tradition.
The mathematical precision was important to the Masonic founders of D.C. When they had to move the location of the Washington Monument because the area was too marshy, they laid a special stone to mark the exact point of the triangle. And who were these mysterious Masonic designers? None other than the founding fathers of our country. The city of Washington, D.C. was laid out by George Washington, a Freemason since age 20. Supported by Chief Architect Pierre Charles L'Enfant, a Freemason, Andrew Ellicott, a Freemason, and Benjamin Benneker, an African-American Freemason. America's capital city was founded in 1791 in a Masonic ceremony. Revering their stonecutter heritage, they marked the future capital with a single sacred foundation stone. Then, for reasons unknown, the location of the foundation stone was promptly forgotten. Among the millions of D.C. tourists, few know that the Capitol's foundation stone ever existed. Fewer still know where it is today.
We're under the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and the foundation stone for all of Washington, D.C. is right over here. Come on.
In 1791, this was the most important site in the nation, now nearly forgotten by time.
The Freemasons marched to this spot on March 15, 1791, and they laid this, the first boundary stone of the new city of Washington, D.C. They've installed a little glass window so you can see it. From here, the city radiates out in a diamond shape.
Even the boundaries of the city reflected another Masonic secret.
Washington convinced members of Congress that the District of Columbia had to be a 10-mile square. The square is a very important symbol in Freemasonry. It's a symbol of virtue and wisdom.
2 years later, George Washington led another sacred Masonic ceremony. This time, in the center of the now-growing capital city.
Puts on his Masonic regalia, leads a parade of Freemasons down Pennsylvania Avenue to lay the cornerstone of that building in a Masonic ceremony. That, in and of itself, says how much he valued Freemasonry.
This has been a sneak peek